All right, we are live. Thanks for watching this VOD. If it's your first time, you can always skip ahead a little bit. Takes us a little while to get going in the evenings, so feel free to skip ahead. If you end up enjoying the experience, then please do leave a comment, hit subscribe. Excuse me. I think we're at like what, 6,000 people on Discord. I think we've only got like 3,500 subscribers on YouTube. We try to read every single comment that you guys do, and we do appreciate it. The reason why we ask for it is, a lot of times people ask, how can we support the project? Well, the more that we get the word out, the better. And honestly, right now, that's the best way to support us. And if you subscribe and click like and comment and all that good shit, that helps the YouTube algorithm and may make it so that we're a little bit more discoverable. So that's what we ask for. Booty clap, what's up? Talat, hello. Good evening, folks. Darius, hello. Sirinth, Reb Chumley, how's it going? Maybe I should have restarted my machine before kicking off the stream. But I guess we'll figure that out as we go. Hey Justin, what's up Chaz Solo, Swanee, Gian? What just happened there? Coding Caffeine, Nicodemus, hello. What's up, Dark Inside? I'm sorry to hear that you're sick. Danthropod says, my sons and I got a chance to play with the last test. We are so excited to play your game together. Great work so far, and we can hardly stand the wait. Oh, that's badass. Thank you. How old are your sons, if you don't mind disclosing? Fabrizio, hello. Duck Inside says, at least I get to stay home and play computer games. Even though I'm an adult, my work life is like, nah, if you're sick, don't come in. Yeah, it's a smart move. 9 and 7. Oh, right on. We have so many people in our community that talk about when they were between like 9 and 13 playing EQ with their dad or their mom or older brother. A lot of folks, kind of like average age 11. So that's pretty cool, man. Dark Inside says, one of my New Year's resolutions is to finally release a game on Steam. I think that's a good one. Me too. Hey. Attributes. Even if it's not a big game, just get a feeling of what it takes. Right on, Dark Inside, yeah. Hey, Angel. Angiel, if that is your real name. Saren said, my son wants to try it when Eminem comes out. He's 13 and has finally really gotten into D&D. Oh, that's a good age for it. Showed him Eminem and he's watched some of your streams with me, Robot. He definitely wants to play. Right on. I'm glad I didn't scare him off from wanting to play. Angiel. Hey, yo. Hey, yo says. Oh, and you followed me 49 minutes ago. Thank you for that. Hey, yo. Says, hey, just found a bunch of your old videos interviewing Jeff Butler, Jeff Satkin, etc. Recently had heard about Monsters and Memories. Was really great to see that you were working on this. Very excited. Oh, right on. Thanks for watching the videos. Those were fun to do. Need to do some more. And I'm glad you're here. Says he loves Goblin streams too, since he draws as a hobby. Oh, those are great streams as well. Goblin and Zukin. Pattis been busy lately though. A lot of our folks have been slammed going into the end of the year and then coming back out and like everybody's work's restabilizing and shit. Ollie's been smashed. What's up, Simon? Yeah, I would say, man, it's got to be awesome being 13 right now. There's so many good resources out there for stuff like this. It's cool. Darius says Jeff Satkin was so critical to the development of EQ. Really great work on a spell system. Yeah, GZ's super big brain dude. People like that. I'm like, wow, how they do it. How their brains get big. How their brains get so big. Yeah, Nicodemus has been going through some storm action in his part of the world. By the way, y'all, welcome Nicodemus to the team. Already kicking out some cool stuff. Stern said I caught Zukin last night doing some spider work. Goblin work on biomes this morning. Oh, right on. Yeah, you guys give those guys some support, man, if you're not already. I'm going to mention it a few times throughout the streams. Especially those of you that are sad that you can't sub here anymore because I've, given that affiliate back to them. Though, Twitch is being very good about letting me know that any moment now I could be an affiliate if I just applied myself. But yeah, hit those guys up. Sub over there. Support those guys as they are freelance artists. Every little bit helps. Did I forget to do something? Here. Those are selected. What am I missing here? Is the server down? What's going on? Points distributed, traits selected, name. What in the world? Get no feedback. I'm wondering what's up with that. Dragon said wife's about to crack me in the head when she gets the gift sub notices. Yeah. Watch out there, don't get in trouble. As I always said, I bought a 6-month sub right before the tax shenanigans, so I think I'm on last month now. They were supposed to refund all that stuff. Frickin' Twitch, man. Alright, so that looks fine. Try to make this dude just look. He looks like my dad. If you took a person that was like 6'4" and smashed him down into a dwarven body. If you ask for a refund, you can do this. Continue your streak. That's so funny. Ollie did that last week as well. He's at like, how many months is he at? Let me look here. 41 months. Tiggles P99, what's up? Tiggles from Discord, right? Oh, thank you guys.
Good point.
I'm sorry, like but I'm not getting the money, so oh wait, maybe I already got the money and that's what's up. But they should have refunded you. I don't like that. See, that's what happens. That's what happens when you rely on other people's platforms for shit. It's out of your control, and that's not good. Hardiness. I want to be hardy. Stun resistance. Warrior, that's me. I'm getting that for sure, because I'm a warrior. Also known as a fighter. I am the warrior. What else? What did I grab last time? Hardiness as well. Alchemist, blacksmith, chef, fisherman, forage, miner. I'm a dwarf. And then forage. Okay, I've got them. I got him. Okay, Crumbly. How many subs do you need to spin up a test this weekend? Oh, I'm insulted. Do you think that we can be bought so easily? But now that we do the math, I'll tell you what, if you just give us like, I don't know, man, 4.5 million subs? 40 packs of Topo Chico is the best you can do. Oh, a 40 pack. I read 40 packs. I was like, where'd you get 40 packs of Topo Chico? It's just bubbly water, babe. It's just bubbly water. $4.5 million. No, 4.5 million subs. Actually, that's a shitload of money. Just get 1 million subs. That'll give us 2.5 minus taxes. That'll work. That'll work. And we will promise to just... We'll let you play test this weekend, and then after that, we're just going to be heads down. Timed out entering the world. Try again. It's nothing to make an MMO. No, we're doing it on a budget. Dark Inside, you know us. Man. Elron says, I'd never buy that many subs. I'd cash app you the money. That's fair. Yeah, you don't want to give 50% of that to Amazon. They got enough money. Just virus. Timed out entering the world. What is wrong with our world? See, I can't even play the game. You guys talking about wanting to play the game. You know what? It's probably some shit on my end. I probably did get banned. Goblins to go to the rope, probably. Did you guys play P99? Who in chat played P99? We definitely did on the team. We even got some people. We've got one person that's a P99 blue freak. I'm not even going to mention his name, Robert. My God. Yeah, I don't even want to mention how many characters this person, Robert, has. He's probably there right now. He's probably in the sauna on P99. He's sent us pictures. He sent us pictures like on stage at a music festival, getting ready to rock out and be a complete rock star. And I've seen him live. He actually is an absolute rock star. But he's on stage and he'll have his laptop open, like thousands of fans in front of the laptop, and he'll have his laptop open and it'll be his P99 characters. He is legit. I wonder if it's gonna let me into the game. You are denied. No, but for real, he'll be in his hotel room and stuff when he's on tour playing. Just hoping for a March playtest. Well, March is my birthday. Still quarming? I have not dedicated enough time to Quarm at all. I feel guilty. Sorry, secrets. That's me right now. I did over the holidays. I played some Embers Adrift. Enjoyed that. I've been enjoying that so far. If any Embers Adrift people are out there, I'm with you. Been reliving Anarchy Online. Right on. I enjoyed Anarchy Online, though when it first came out, I was a bit bummed. Ooh, I really should have restarted my machine. I was a bit bummed that it wasn't a Cyberpunk game, but it was still a cool game. Hey Liz Biscuits, what's going on? My surgery is at the end of this month. But I have a appointment tomorrow, my pre-surgery appointment consultation, where I'm going to go get all my blood work done tomorrow, and I don't know what is all part of a surgery consultation of this sort, but it's cool. I will have my faithful translator with me, so that they don't try to get me to check a box that like, sign here if you want to be made into schnitzels. Like, you got me, you sons of bitches. I didn't have my translator with me. Now you're gonna schnitzel me. Rev Chumley says, I finally started playing Baldur's Gate 3. Pretty darn fun. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that when I have surgery. When I'm recovering for surgery, I'll get a few days in. Got 2 surgeries coming up, so maybe I should play. I really want to get in back in and play some more Elden Ring. Watched a cool video on Elden Ring. I was like, man, I need to play that game some more. What's up, D Loves Pudding? Am I going with the finger laser? I'm getting the gadget finger. It's going to be interchangeable. Yeah, that's February. That's next month. New finger is next month. Go gadget. Neck massager. Oh wow, look. Randomly my the chat bar at the bottom of the screen started working again. So I said, oh my. Pineapple. Yeah, you're right. That was... I don't know what you guys are implying. I really should have restarted my machine. It's laggy as Jeebus. Yeah, so I totally forgot to fix that. Remember Thursday I was like, hey, I'm gonna fix my chat box thing at the bottom of my screen. And I failed to do it, but I guess it heard me and fixed itself. Justin Beard says I got an eye appointment, upcoming eye appointment that I'm anxious about, say least. Oh man, when is that? We gotta send you some good thoughts. Hopefully it goes well for you. Did any of you, when you were on the playtest, did any of you actually make it into Telekir? Get a Sandivistan installed in your bionic finger? What is that? Is it cool? Should I know what that is? If this stream shuts down in the middle of the stream, just blame me not restarting my machine. Justin said, my eyes are severely permanently damaged and I think it's going to be the last drive. Major damage and peripheral vision is compromised. Central vision is terrible. Justin, buddy, we know your eyes are messed up. What procedure are you having? Or is it just a consultation? You ran there and were ambushed by an invisible mob? Well, it was stealthing. Oh, okay. It's just a consultation. Well, everybody in chat's rooting for you. We're rooting for you. And I gotta look up what a Sandivistan is. But on the other screen. Did anybody not see the update that got sent out this weekend? It's an operating system in Cyberpunk 2077. It's featured in Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Temporary status effect that can be activated on demand. It's designed to be primarily used with blade melee weapons. Slow time. Oh, interesting. I need that. You're right. For being somebody that claims to be so into Cyberpunk theme, I probably should play the game at some point. Just when it came out, I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. But everybody said it's really turned into a great game. My machine's not very good, though. Nicodemus is like, yes, it's amazing. All right, dude, we'll have to talk about it. I'll end up playing it. Did I ever tell you my super cynical take on the future based on my readings of Cyberpunk novels and stuff when I was a kid? I don't know if I ever told you that. I don't know if I should tell you, to be honest. You may think about this stream and project and everything in a different light. Nope. Humanity may aspects of humanity be replaced by robots in terms of like work and stuff, but that's what leads to the part of the dystopia that like I was thinking about when I talked about this all the time when I first joined Sony. So my thought was that no, it's not as bad as the Singularity. My thought was that over time, if the Cyberpunk novels were correct, we enter into a situation where more and more the work that we do is going to be taken over by AI and robots and stuff. There'll be fewer and fewer things for us to do, which means the governments will eventually give us UBI and just tell everybody to stay at home and be entertained. You'll have just enough food to sustain you, and you'll just be entertained. And my thought was, getting into the industry, I'd rather be making the entertainment than sitting in a drab mega skyscraper somewhere consuming the entertainment. That was my original thought when I first got to Sony. It wasn't as crazy, Carnivore. It wasn't as crazy as like weird neck stabby breeding pods and all that other crap. It was more just there's more concern that if things got too weird, I'd rather be a lackey in the megacore, be a company man, than stuck consuming the content. A Futurama type future doesn't sound too bad. At least we'll have Bender. No love for Layla. That's her name, right? Leela, not Layla. Hey, Northern Sky. For a while, they thought robots taking over would lead to a new renaissance with people having spare time to invest in arts. Turns out, we just cut it short and the robots do the arts. Well, also, I mean, let's be real. Most people, even if they most people have plenty of time already to do a little bit of art and stuff. Just most people aren't artsy. Jetsons in the future will have flying cars and robot maids. Reality, don't eat the Tide Pods. I feel personally attacked. Let's move on from real world topics. Let's talk about fantasy stuff. Elves and squirrels and shit. Let's talk about dragon aerodynamics. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things. Dragonkin, no Dragonkin. Thought the Elven Squirrel War of 1645 was pretty bloody. Oh man, Nicodemus has been on the team such a short amount of time and he's already blabbing about the Elven Squirrel War. We know it was you that blabbed, Nicodemus. What if Eminem is a post-apocalyptic future and all the fantasy stuff is just people, animals becoming mutants? Kind of like a little Gamma World-ish. Darkenside said the only dragon aerodynamics I know is these nuts. I think that's inappropriate. Did you say that because they're dragon or because they're aerodynamic? John, you've got Gamma World boxes downstairs? What? Man, I loved looking at the Gamma World stuff when I was a kid. There's a theory that Flintstones lived not in the past, but in a post-apocalyptic future. Not sure how they got around dinosaur things. Man, you know, it's like bell bottoms. Everything comes back around. Hey, fat poops. Yeah, Jurassic Park, exactly. That was part of the apocalypse. New model? Where have you been, fat poops? This guy's been around since before the people have play tested this model. Sure, Scout needs to stay out of my life. Looks great? Well, thank you. I will pass your love along to the team. Kind of like Torg. I don't recognize Torg right away, but if you hummed a few bars, maybe. But does fat poops have irritable bowel syndrome? No, not if they're nice fat ones, man. well versed in fiber. Inscriptions. Boom, got it. I got it. All this talk about fat poops makes me want to see how far along the troll race is. Listen. Don't be fooled. Just because Nick has been trolling you in Discord does not mean the actual trolls are ready yet. Though that I was just talking about the fact that ooh, hiccup, burps, whatever they're called. The female troll in that one image on the website where she's like hovering with the broom. Our troll swamp witch, troll enchantress. She's kind of sexy, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that in this day and age. About it helps if I target. Oh my goodness, my machine is not loving me right now. Like I said, guys, if well, I'm a beast. That was easy. I don't know why all you guys were dying during the playtest. You guys need to get good. It's so easy. You just gotta make yourself a... Ithera? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Ithera said, I want to be a sexy troll enchantress so bad. You've seen the one on the website, right? You know what I'm referring to. Yes, she's awesome, right? You sent me a DM. Let me see what it is. It better not be another dirty pic. Oh, look at that. That's filthy. That's filthy. Clicking, enlarging. All those Gamma World boxes. From the producers of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, Sims, you take all the time you need. Nicodemus said there's a lot of love for the troll models. Thinks you can had a poll on a stream and troll one by quite a bit. Nice. Nice. Dude, everything I do on my machine right now, like I just clicked this link and it's just everything's freezing up. It was a bad move not restarting my machine before the stream. I knew it. I just duplicated this tab. It's lagging so hard. Can you elucidate a bit on your unnamed MMO FPS work? There was a time when everyone was developing a new MMO or MMO FPS, but they all seemed to turn into Destiny. Yes, I can, if you would like. If no one complains about such banter. Let's scroll down first to... Hey, the Wood Elves. Hey, Deep Elves. Sorry you're moody. Whoa, Ogress, another powerful one. Because, there we go. I was like, either he's really far behind her or she's just massive. There we go. Them thighs, exactly. DDJ, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna overshare since it's online and stuff. But all right, but just between us, no one else. Everybody else, don't listen and don't share this knowledge. Those thighs and calves, big fan. If we ever have a fanfare or whatever, and Jasmine's with us, you'll understand why. She's upstairs lifting weights right now, actually. Like, yep, big fan. There we go, Swamp Witch. Look at her. She's got her snarl. Look at her little snarly face. She's just up. She's just hovering in the air and little lip ring. She's got some catcher's mitts on her though. Look at those hands. She's everything I want to be, Athera says. All right. Well, I dig it. Angel said, Jasmine, my spirit animal. She's pretty rad. Thanks. Thanks for the clip. Your wife can leg press 360 pounds. Badass. We just got the free weights upstairs. Also, metric. Oh, so back to your question, Tiggles. Back to your question. The unnamed or unannounced MMORPG was basically we are asked by the company in metric, do they call it mass lifting? I don't think they do actually. But I also probably don't get the joke. I'm real bad about not getting jokes. Because I'm not that bright. I'm lovable though. Nuggin, thank you for the follow. Pounds equals weight, kilo equals mass. Is this true? Should I have known that from school? I went to public school in Southeast Alabama. My senior year's schedule was amazing. It was junior year had the really fun schedule. My first class in the morning was weightlifting. My second class was art. Third class, public speaking. I don't think I had a real class though. I had like English and something else towards the end of the day. Nuggin says, hi, happy to be here. A friend I used to play EQ with just sent me this project. I'm excited to check it out. All right, if you haven't checked out the website, you really should, and you should definitely hop into our Discord as well. Glad you're here, and thank your friend for us for sharing the love. Anyways, to finally just answer your question. Oh, by the way, did I say hi, Zukin? Hi, Zukin. Hi, Goblin. Sorry if I missed you, Zukin. I was too busy talking about thick thighs. So the unannounced MMORPG that I list on the about or whatever it was, we got approached. I was on the PlanetSide team. Instead of going to EQ2, I just didn't want to work on EQ2. They yanked like on a Monday, they yanked Scott Hartzman, who is the EverQuest tech director, Rich Waters, who is the EverQuest design director, and me. I was the expansion lead. They yanked us off the team to put us on EQ2, and I just didn't want to be on EQ2. I spent about a week or 2 weeks looking at their tools and kind of the direction they were going and some of the decisions they made, and I was like, if you're going to yank me off EQ, which I actually enjoy, then I'm not going to work on a game that's basically EQ flavored, but not something that I like the tool set of, and some of the decisions that were being made and stuff like that. So I was like, no thanks, can I go work on PlanetSide? And they were looking for somebody to do some economy design for PlanetSide anyway. And so went over there, wrote some stuff up for economy that wound up not being used. I didn't necessarily get along with Georgeson, and he was kind of in charge at the time. And so after a couple months of that, really got along with the rest of the team. We got hit up by the executives at SOE to see if we could reskin PlanetSide and make another MMO FPS out of it. I worked on the design side. It was a gentleman named Terrence Yee, who's a really, really awesome guy, super sweet guy, very smart. So it was Terrence Yee and me on the design side, and then basically all the rest of the PlanetSide team were given a small amount of time to put together a prototype. So within 2 weeks, we had basically stolen a Battlefield 1942. What was the original mod? Desert Combat? Desert Combat map. The one that was the very urban. I forget which zone it was, but the one that was like a very urban environment. We took the PlanetSide guy and threw him in some urban camouflage cargo pants with a hoodie and a dope backpack and an AK-47. And we basically just kept all of the vehicles and stuff from PlanetSide and had a 40 by 4, like 40 on 40 in-house playtest. So we did like 40 by 40 within 2 weeks. We had these cool little characters, and it was cool. We basically just played with a lot of the values. So movement was less floaty, turning was snappier. This was all data for the most part, versus PlanetSide setup. Lethality was a lot higher. The cone of fire was tightened, so it felt a little bit more accurate. And then we had a playtest, and it was a lot of fun. But design and the team kind of wanted to go one direction. The producer that they gave us, because I was not yet a producer at the time, producer that was working with us on it really wanted to make like a World War II kind of game, I think. And then when we pitched, so the game was going to be basically near future mercenaries fighting wars. You know, I'd pitched like a Shadowrun version of EverQuest for like 6 years, and so anytime anything was like near future, they were like, "You're just trying to make a Cyberpunk game or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, and they're like, "No one cares about Cyberpunk. No one gets it except uber nerds, so it's not going to be commercially viable." And so then we're like, "It's not Cyberpunk, it's mercenaries." And they're like, "Mercenaries? What? Mercenaries don't fight wars. Mercenaries, no one." No bullshit. Like, our marketing was like, nobody even knows what mercenaries are. But mercenaries, that's not a thing. No one cares. Oh, and then the mercenary game came out for like the PS3 or whatever, PS2. But yeah, so they weren't feeling mercenaries, and we wanted to do mercenaries. So the internal code name, we even had little t-shirts and stuff made up. It's called Guns for Hire. And what we wanted to do was basically like, I talked to Terrence about this a lot, because I played a lot of, played a fair amount of like the Dota mod, and really wanted to incorporate more AI into the MMO FPS, because I thought that was something that was missing from PlanetSide. Like automated ant runs with like automated reaver protection, formations and stuff like that. So that even if players weren't there, because, there was that whole just sort of chasing each other around the map, around the world kind of thing going on with the three factions. The ability to build up resources, and then, you know, I could see in PlanetSide like the idea of commanders being able to allocate resources to different bases, and then outfit them with AI and run like certain missions or formations and stuff like that automated. One of the things that it would do is ensure that there's always a little something going on there, and also give players that sucked at PvP a little bit more of a role, right? Because it's easier to potentially hit like a PvE engagement if you're not as good at PvP and feel like you're contributing in some way, right? And maybe you could do an ant run and have AI reverse protecting you or something like that, right? So that was the idea. Really wanted to get actual AI into PlanetSide when I was on the team, and again, like Georgeson wasn't really into the idea at the time. And it sucked because we had one of the programmers on the team is like a super good AI programmer. If you remember the shooting range, the idea was actually to make those guys in the shooting range like AI move around and stuff. So what did you say? You had drinks with Georgeson at a hotel bar. He always came off as a sizzle, not steak kind of guy, and promised the world and would never deliver. Delivery is hard. Delivery is hard. And you know what? Delivery is not sexy. If you've ever been in a delivery room, it's not sexy. And that is basically what making games is like. Being in a delivery room. Thanks for your insight. Sorry you got shut down. Oh man, everything happens for a reason. It gave me a good opportunity to tell a story where I'm like, hey, we could have made this super cool thing. And then, you know, you'll never know. What direction did Georgeson want to take the game? I had trouble figuring it out, to be honest, Nick. You know, like, he was really set on, like, the BFR thing. And I mean, I don't think I'm lying when I say that, you know, the whole... What was core combat? Sort of read out, expand the game world thing. I don't think anybody forced that on him. I don't know though, Georgeson, if you're out there, you could. But cave modules you can install into surface bases for benefits. Yeah, that was core combat, right? Wasn't that the reason why you were going down there? Yeah. August Burns Phil, I agree with you. I think a Shadowrun, I think all sorts of variations on Shadowrun MMO would probably do fine if it's, you know, at the end of the day you got to just execute properly. So the thing I remember about Georgeson, I'll tell this story, and you know, I don't know if legally, if I'm telling stories about other people, if I have to say, in my memory, the way it happened, I don't know, right? Like, it didn't allegedly happen. This actually happened. So when I first got on the team, I was asked to write up a proposal for how to take the space cows, the shifters, and build an economy out of them. And I was still like, you know what? I'd rather get some PvE in here through the factions that we already have and not introduce space cows. But what do I know? So anyway, how much stuff do I have stacked on here? Okay, cool. The so he asked for this document, like, hey, write up the proposal for this. And so I wrote up, you know, like, it was like, wasn't huge. It was probably maybe like 8 pages, but I wrote up a document that proposed the economy. So basically it demonstrated the inputs into the economy coming from the shifters. I can't remember exactly what the, you know, what the drain was, but it had a series of drains, and it described in detail everything that we would need for it. So what a couple of pages of basically a breakdown of, here are the assets that we need, here are the UI elements that we need, here are the sounds that we need for in-game, for the UI, all that stuff. Basically, it was a complete list of deconstruction of everything that we needed. Bounced it off the animators, bounced it off the UI guys, bounced it off everybody, so that I knew that the list was actually valid as well. And so I gave it to Georgeson to check out, and he read it. It was me, him, and Terrence in a design meeting. Like, he read it and he looked at the document and he's like, never do this again. I was like, what does that even mean? And he's like, and he didn't clarify. To this day, I still don't know what that meant. Like, I didn't, it was, I could see if the whole document was like, I just drew like a cartoon dick or something. It was like, here. Then I could see like, never do that again. I could, because I'd be like, yeah, that's inappropriate. Feel bad even mentioning the idea out loud. But it was a design document done in a way that I would assume I'd want a design document done as somebody who had been the expansion lead on EverQuest for a few years, right? So it wasn't like I was just coming in off the street and just going random stuff, 8 pages of random stuff or 5 pages of random stuff into a document, right? And I forget what happened, but I think there was a bit of because I don't take that kind of feedback very well. I don't like authority for the most part. I already don't like working for people. And so then when the feedback I get is kind of like, something like that's kind of like combative, fight the power. Pessimistic Squid, I had somebody call me out with that exact phrase. He's like, oh, Mr. Fight the Power over there, while I was at Sony, which also triggered the shit out of me. And so, like, I remember just kind of getting real pissed off in that meeting, and I think trying to work through, like, what does that mean? But in a fairly combative way, back and forth, and then we just kind of ended the meeting. You're all about it, taking it as a compliment. Depending on who says it and how, right? Like, oh, different game. We sell things differently in this game. The guy that I spoke was talking about was like, oh, we got us a little Mr. Fight the Power over here. I was just like, huh? And so, yeah, anyways, we did not get off on the right foot, and then fortunately we just never even had to get back on the same feet. And it was a thing where, yeah, because I remember we were at E3, I think, when PlanetSide came out, and we were in the bus and having some drinks on the way back to the hotel, and I remember asking Georgeson like what the plan was for PlanetSide's like live. I was like, what's your live feature release plan looking like? And he just looked at me like, what are you even talking about? He's like, we just shipped, man. We're gonna take a break. We just shipped a game, dude. Like, okay. Well, good luck catching up. Love that banker's name. Which one, Zelith? Hey, Jasmine. Bargels? Zelith, do you know why I named him that? Is it too obvious? Are these names too obvious? I figured we'd eventually change them. Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. PlanetSide never really expanded much beyond its launch. Yeah, I was just... And the thing is, like... It's it's not totally the team's fault, and this was a Sony problem in general. The fact that they went live and they didn't already have like content ready for a rollout plan, right? Because going live and then taking some time and then starting on the next set of content or features with all of the bug fixes that are going to pop up from going live and all the other issues, like that puts a team so far behind the curve that then folks have already burned through stuff and they're looking for something new. And by the time, if that's not designed, and then if it's not designed even, let alone in progress, let alone tested, let alone then, like basically staged and ready to go out. All right, so that's going to take, depending on the features, a couple months. I mean, with something like PlanetSide, it could, because I know they added the bomber in afterwards and a couple other things. But like, so even if it's a single vehicle, that could take that could take X amount of time, depending on what their pipelines look like. And so by then it's so far behind the curve. Whereas if they would have basically had everything ready to go, game wise, like sort of what they launched with, and they already had a plan. They knew they're going to release this bomber, and with that type of game as well, like understanding the implications of it, kind of like the BFRs. First of all, kind of like core combat, not thinking, oh wow, that's going to further segment the players in a PvP environment. So it's going to like thin out the player base even more. Let alone if there's already like player drop when it comes out. But adding in new vehicle types or adding in new weapon systems and not thinking about the potential implications on like just the way the game plays at that point. That's pretty intense. So not having that stuff already on test, where you're already sort of finding the gotchas and thinking, let alone having already thought through the implications of it and ready to basically roll out. I mean, think about how the PlanetSide experience would have been different if it came out and everybody said, oh my God, this is cool, because it was a fucking great game. It was super unique. Those bridge battles and other battles where you're just there for hours and it feels like there's hundreds of players and it's complete combined arms, right? You've got armor rolling up into the tree line. You've got infantry rolling around. You've got the maxes or whatever they're called, like staging in different areas, snipers popping people. You've got mosquitoes looking for snipers, reavers having air battles and duels above you. You've got the drop ships, and like it was just an amazing game. So imagine that game coming out and there being a clear plan for, and then month 1 we're adding this, and then month 2 we're adding that, and then this quarter it's going to be this, and it was feasible, right? Like that would have been just such a different experience. Bilbo says, wow, PlanetSide sounds great. It was amazing. We played the shit out of it on the EQ team. Like it was really cool. But there's no plan. And then to ask somebody what the plan is and just kind of be looked at like you're an asshole is like, that was one of the challenges with being on the EQ team. The EQ team at the time was a bunch of dudes from customer service for the most part, and dudes is all inclusive. We had the ladies, we had but a bunch of dudes from customer service, and there were only basically when everybody quit to start working on Vanguard and left us kind of like the B team to take over the project after Lucklin. What wound up happening was there was the company really didn't have any respect for the team. Honestly, that's the way we felt, because it was like, oh, it's just a bunch of random like internet dorks who played EQ who came into customer service, and now there are game designers, right? And it was like, they're not real game designers. You guys are just people that played the game. And so it was a weird time in the company, because the common sentiment in the company, and anybody says that this isn't true, I call bullshit. I would love to, like, we can have a actual video discussion on this topic. But anybody from that era that says that the general sentiment about EQ in the company wasn't that it wasn't a very good game, and that is basically Brad made a really good game, and then handed it over to a bunch of customer service people, and then we were just basically riding off the momentum. Not counting the fact that the product was continuing to grow, right? Like it was growing through pop. And a few people have argued like that, hey, Lucklin killed EverQuest, pop killed EverQuest, blah blah blah. But the reality is, and somebody brought a graph up, a chart and showed it a while back. Like the charts that we've seen, basically what killed EverQuest was WoW. Like WoW and EQ2 came out at the same time, and you can watch the curve go up, and then WoW comes out, and that's what killed it. I mean, EverQuest is still fucking making millions of dollars every year, but that's what really hit the numbers. Otherwise, the numbers were growing all the way until then, right? And so, yeah. So, anyways, all of this is to not just bitch and moan about, not getting any respect. The point of this was the sentiment within the company was that EQ guys really didn't know what they were doing, and EverQuest just would make itself and sell itself up until Gates of Discord, right? Because there was a lesson learned there. They took us off the team as Gates was getting started. Gates came out, did not do very good. They put me back on the team for Omens. Did it a little bit better, and then I said, I'm done with this shit. I want to go do something else. I want my own game. But yeah, so, teams, the whole point of this is teams like PlanetSide and teams like Star Wars Galaxies and, the agency, which got canceled. A lot of teams within the company they weren't going to ask us anything. They didn't really want to learn what we knew, any of that shit. And so, yeah, the whole idea of like running a live game wasn't a big thing back then. There weren't a lot of people you could ask in the world. And they didn't ask us internally. So, Nick said, did you ever think about applying to Blizzard and working on WoW? A couple online dorks did pretty good over there. So the reality is, about 6 or 8 of us went up to Irvine one day, got a tour of the Blizzard offices, got to check out the WoW tool sets, got to check out WoW, and then went to dinner with Mark Kern and the guys and talked a bit to kind of figure out whether or not there would be an opportunity and whether or not we were interested in leaving. But at the time, the same bunch of guys also went up to EALA and got to meet all the producers at the EALA studio and talk to them as well about potentially moving up there as a group and starting a new MMO. So there was a period where I don't know if there was like a serious, hey, do you want to come up here or not? Right. So I don't want to overstate that and then have like Mark Kern or whoever from the WoW team be like, well, we were never going to hire those guys. But during that period, there was definitely some feeling out of like, are there other options? Because again, WoW was EQ was really good to us monetarily. Like the royalties that we got and stuff were pretty tight. So it was hard to leave there. But it was definitely on the table. And, when we saw WoW, we were just like, okay, well then, this is going to be interesting for Sony. And there was some internal arguments on that. Like the internal vibe within like the market research mailing list and stuff was, sure, WoW is pretty, but people are going to play it and they're going to be done in like 2 weeks because it's too easy. And we're like, I don't think we agree. We think this game's going to be pretty big. Because it was the only game that we were seeing that looked like EverQuest. It was the only game, like no Sony game was as EverQuest as WoW. Oh shit, I'm a goner. That's what I get for not paying attention. Good. I'm always proud if the game kills me. You don't quit jobs, you quit bosses. Yep. Well, yeah. I missed a whole bunch of stuff up here. The gods didn't do well because the raids were too hard, right? That was part of it. They were, you know, some of the interviews that I've done, if you watch the VODs, they get into it a bit. There was just a number of things that just felt off, right? So I think the raid tuning was, the content tuning was based off of the expectation that they were going to have an additional level boost, and then they were tuning around that, but then wound up not getting the player power increase that they expected. The art direction was just kind of whack. The naming and stuff was just like, welcome to Oguplipe, and you'll be fighting Jikjikirask. Right? It just didn't feel fantasy enough. And there's a lot of little decisions that can add up to something feeling right and playing right or not. And that gets underestimated. And it's one of the hard things on a creative team, right? Like where it's like, hey, everybody, you know, everybody's creative and everybody's got ideas and they want to, you know, do this, that, and the other thing. But the team's leadership's got to be in place to kind of go, yeah, maybe we don't make that look like that, or maybe we don't name everything some weird shit that you can't pronounce. And then when I got Smed and Russ asked me to come back to Omens, to work on Omens, and they had already started production. And when I saw like what was being worked on, it was like we basically had to throw away everything that they had already started on and just start over and just try to make it as EQ as possible. Zero said the abrupt lore shift from pop to god was weird. Well, there was an idea for how that shift was supposed to happen, but it was supposed to be less weird and more of like a, you know, again, sort of a tropey thing. Like in a nutshell, Gates of Discord and subsequent expansions were just supposed to take you from, because you just killed the Pantheon and you went back in time and all that other weird stuff, right? Like that we did. So you just killed all the gods. And then they told us, you got to keep making expansions. We're like, shit, really? They're like, yeah. We're like, we just killed all the gods. How do you top that? So anyways, the idea was like, all right, Discord, Priest of Discord, is essentially this other realm. And I was really fascinated by Discord anyway at the time, based off of, I was reading all of the Stephen King Dark Tower books. And, you know, the term Discordia is used within that series, right? And it's just like, to me, this whole realm of like chaos. And at the time we were really like thumbing through all of the like Warhammer 40K books for inspiration, all sorts of shit. And it was this idea of, all right, so there's this just chaotic, like amped up super realm. And the whole idea was just to basically take the fantasy that we had and go harder, but with like a new pantheon where you work with the pantheon of Norrath against the pantheon of Discord, and you know, Discord elves and Discord this, or chaos elves and blah blah, right? Like not super creative. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying most creative bloke in the world, but the idea was basically just to kind of take it and move it in that direction. Now at the time, it was very much the sort of expansion mindset and the introduction of new lands and new bigger, badder shit to kill was kind of our MO. If I could go back in time and somehow convince management to let us just continue to flesh out the world, then that would have been really cool. But yeah, when was that? That lower Skuk would have been better for you. Well, we already got February, March 2004. Okay, makes sense. I mean, we added, didn't we call it lower or darkest, deepest Skuk? So with Lost Dungeons of Norrath, we tried to basically insert some more areas within the world, even though it was instanced. It was meant to kind of hit on some of the stuff that we saw on the map that we never got a chance to see. So like Rujarkian Hills and like Deepest Guk or whatever, Miragul's Menagerie, Takashi's, and I thought there was a fifth one. Guk, Takashi's. Oh, was it Mistmore? Like under Mistmore or Catacombs of Mistmore? Was it something like that? Catacombs of Mistmore? Mistmore Catacombs. Bam. Awesome. Oh yeah, because that was even the arts. The box art was Catacombs of Mistmore. And I think Keith had died by then. I don't think that was Keith art. I think that was Larry Elmore. The one up by Hollis / Everfrost was Miragul's Menagerie. The Sava said that's back when the actual storyline logbook, wasn't it? Probably back during like the God Omens era. There's always that sort of like quality of life stuff trickling out. Yeah, I mean, as much as folks shit on instancing and all that stuff, and you know, in some games, and I understand. But at the time, it was just like we had just done pop, and the big question everybody had was like, what about the content for everybody that's like below level 45 or whatever? And we had been talking because Anarchy Online's mission system was really cool. And one of the questions I had for the tech guys was like, can we do Anarchy Online style missions, but for groups, and do legit dungeon crawls, right? Because at the time we were like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to do dungeon crawls and be able to interact with objects and stuff, and have the space be your own. And the tech guys were like, yeah, we can absolutely do that. And then we started talking about it, and originally we were going to randomly, we were thinking like, can we also randomly generate the dungeons? And as we looked into it, it was like, we weren't going to be happy, and we couldn't do it technically speaking. So Dave Nevela, he was the lead environment artist. Dave and I Dave came up with a tool in 3ds Max that would, he made a bunch of dungeon parts, and then we used his tool to assemble dungeons, and he would just randomly generate layouts and then do a 2D black and white map of them from above, and then he and I would sit and start looking at the layouts and then adjust them a little bit, and then we'd pick, and that's how we got the layouts for the Eldon dungeons. You have a signed Keith print in Elmore Dungeon Norrath print. Bought it from a Gen Con. Oh, right on. Yeah, I never got a chance to meet Keith. Everybody, basically, like everybody that knew him at the company and stuff, just said he was the raddest dude. Definitely love the art. Begs the question, what artist do you want to do your box art for Eminem? Nicodemus nailed it. I think we're probably good with having Goblin do it. We've got our style. Our style is ours. Our style is in-house. That said, you know, if like Elmore Easley or somebody was like, hey, would love to do some fan art, that'd be badass. Oh, Dragons of Norrath. Sorry. Not Eldon. Nick asked, so when WoW came out and was doing good, was there any like, oh no, what do we do to win players back? Either through improving existing games like EQ2 or making a new game? Trying to think when exactly would be considered kind of the fit hitting the shan in that regard, like the realization that, okay, I mean, there was the immediate realization that EQ2 just wasn't going to do it, right? Like that was obvious straight out of the gate. And I think what was happening, if I recall correctly, what was happening was SOE was just going to release new stuff that was going to basically blow people away. Yeah, so stuff that was in the pipe around then. So 2005, what I remember about 2005, because it was right before I moved to Austin to work on DCUO, and the whole reason. So there was, I remember what was probably the secret weapon. So there was a project that I don't even know legally, even at this point, if I can say. So I'm not going to give any specific names, but the company SOE, which has nothing to do with any current company that may have bought its IP, but the company SOE was in negotiations with an author who had a really popular series of children's books about wizardry and witchcraft and stuff, but I won't specify which one for legal reasons. There was a lot of negotiation going on at that time to basically make an MMO on that IP. And I think the belief was if that happened, boom, silver bullet, right? Like just money after money after money. Was it the Game of Thrones? I cannot confirm or deny if Game of Thrones was the children's book in question. So anyways, I think 2005, it was very much like all we got to do is lock down this IP, make this game, and then boom, money hats again, right? And then in the meantime, scratch his nose, got him. Yeah. And I was thinking about all that money that would come in, and my nose got tickly again. Oh, the 80s. Oh, just so we don't miss over it. Yeah, Goblin. Well, you don't have to be honored. It's It's our game. But yeah, you know, Elmore for me, Bonner for you. But anyway, I think the plan was nail that. There was also then I don't know if they were parallel or when that deal fell through. There was also discussion with a Sean didn't have money in the 80s. I really didn't. We were kind of broke. So there was discussion for the one book series MMO. There's also discussion that might have been parallel or happened directly afterward, because I think the same team wound up doing the pitch for both. And there was going to be a superhero IP. I'm not going to say which one for legal reasons, but it was a major superhero IP, but it wasn't it wasn't DC Comics, because ultimately we did make that game. And so then the thought was, either if we make the one book IP game and we get this other superhero IP game, this universe, then bam, right? Like money hats, because now we've got two major IPs. We just had the Star Wars game come out, and it was doing okay, but not like gangbusters. And I think eventually there was the idea kind of pushed a bit from LucasArts at the time of like, hey, if you could make the Star Wars Galaxy's experience a bit more like that World of Warcraft thing, guys, then, you know, who cares if the existing player base hates it? We'll get a whole bunch of new people in through the power of marketing. But that didn't turn out well either. There was a spy game that was being worked on that was going to be cool, but those guys, I don't know if they'd actually made an MMO before. They're nice guys, but they wound up making a very sort of like multiplayer hub game that didn't really work. And so, yeah. So the book thing didn't happen. The one superhero IP didn't click. And then what wound up happening was we did get the DC Universe IP. And that's where at the end of 2005, I had pitched various games that marketing just like shit on and were like, listen, stop talking to us about. They basically were just like, if you're not pitching GTA, the MMO, then don't talk to us. And I was like, can we have a little bit of technology? What if it's GTA 50 years in the future? No, shut up, Sean. And so, but they're right. Probably should have just made GTA and the MMO. And yeah, so we started on DC Universe. Like I officially started on it before the end of 2005. And then moved out to Austin to be with the team that we were building up in January 1st, 2006. And I think the company just thought, all we got to do is land one of these big IP/MMOs, and we would make up for the fact that like Q2 was underperforming. And, you know, we had 7 like game studios at the time, like 6 or 7. We're doing the joint venture thing in Taiwan, which never really blew up. Like we did the Stephen Chow game out there with Gamania. That didn't really like. You also got to realize like from the other plan was that we're going to get big in Asia, and because literally every MMO company from 2004 through like, I don't know, shit, like 2000, realistically, have we started to figure it out? So maybe like 2017, 18, thought all they got to do is like make a game that resonates in China. Like so many companies, their internal, like their strategy was like, and this is with MMO companies, because this was the same at King's Isle as well. It's like, hey, let's make mobile games. The kids love them. And also let's get big in China. Money hats for everybody. Right? Like that was the business plan. And the thing is, I've yet to see a company do well in Asia, and all the hoops you gotta jump through to like do anything in China is just like complete bullshit, waste of money. Every time I've seen it done. And the company I was at in Germany actually got bought by a Chinese company, and even that wasn't great. And then mobile. And so instead of making a third MMO like I was hired to do at King's Isle, the company just started making mobile games that I don't think did very well. Infantry Online, you asked like an hour ago, and Vivek, I forget, did I say thank you for following like 15 minutes ago? I apologize. Why didn't SOE make Infantry Online their flagship game? This is the best thing Sony ever released. Why didn't they just turn Infantry Online into Hotline Miami, the MMO? Triple G has its own separate version of Path of Exile for China. I think it does very well. Oh, I'm not saying you can't do well in China. I just think it's exceedingly rare. And also, do they actually get to take any of that money out of China, or does that just show on their books as hey, we've got money. We've made millions of dollars in China. Can you take that money out of China? No, not really. But it's on our books. Invest in us. Well, Tencent owns 80%. Okay, well, there you go. They're a Chinese company. The best way to make money in China is to sell your company to China and then go do anything else with your time. What was the size of the team through expansions? Did it fluctuate a lot? Yeah, somebody actually had a graph or a chart or whatever somewhere that showed like EQ team fluctuation. But when I was there, we were fortunate enough to like grow the design team and the rest of the team fairly quickly. For Planes of Power, we grew the team a fair bit because the MMO RTS Sovereign got canceled, and so we got those artists. We were able to pull some more people out of the CS pit for design, and then we got some programmers from Sovereign, and had a pretty hefty team at the time. Then we lost a number of people to go to Star Wars Galaxies. They put a whole bunch of people on a bus from San Diego and drove them to Austin to live in hotel rooms and work on Star Wars Galaxies to try to get it finished and all that stuff. Tale, I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to break my own rule, and then I'm going to immediately like reinforce my own rule after answering the question. So Tala says, do you think the new gaming laws in China will carry over to the rest of the world? Rest of the gaming world? Only if the rest of the world doesn't get its shit together and allows China to continue to sort of consume it. And then yes, naturally their laws will carry over to the rest of the gaming world. But hopefully that never happens. So now back to no longer discussing any real world topics or politics or anything. No politics. No current events. Monkey Paw Curl. That's actually an interesting name for my finger. Voluntold situation, just pulled them for Star Wars Galaxies. No, I think a lot of people were actually excited because you had a lot of people that were like apprentice designers or people in customer service or whatever, and they're given an opportunity to basically get a little bump up and get to work on a project. So I mean, it was, I think a lot of them were excited to go there. And most of them use that to kind of like, oh, from the Simpsons Halloween special. Okay. Oh yeah, now I can even picture it. Hey, Keeps. Yeah. I really, and just so you guys don't get me wrong, I went over to Taiwan in 2002 or 2003, I think, to meet with our joint venture studio, Gamania, out there. And Taiwan was fantastic. I really, 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 despite being all sorts of sick the entire time I was there, the folks that we met there were super nice. It's a really amazing city, especially if you love video games. Especially at the time, because it was like people in the West didn't really understand MMOs very well. And we get over to Taiwan and they had like, was it MU or Mu? Mu Online, like on the side of buses and at, on benches, and the 7-Eleven had computer games in it. Like you go 7-Eleven, it had like computer games in it. The food's fantastic. Like ever since then, I've just been a major fan of like dim sum and stuff. So I loved the culture. I love the people. I love all of that. And I really wish that we had a game that they would have enjoyed more. I still have the boxes for all of that stuff, like in storage. But it just wasn't resonating. It's a very different gaming culture. And then, I think my enjoyment of Taiwan also probably factors into my disdain of the CCP. Do you think ultra-influential country of Stonebrook Mountains is having a negative impact on the gaming industry when it suits want every game to be played on a cell phone in Stonebrook Mountains? I like what you did there. I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think anything's having a negative effect on the gaming industry. The growth in gaming wasn't as crazy as it has been, especially when compared to COVID era, but gaming is still insane. Jasmine had a friend down who spent the night with us last weekend, sort of last minute, spent the night Friday and hung out with us and stuff. And I was trying to explain the games industry to her. And I mean, if you compare our gaming revenue to like movie box office or the music industry, like it's incredible how small those industries are now, relatively speaking. Gaming's not been negatively affected by most things. Everybody is like, oh, MMOs are dead or whatever. Really? There's a shitload of MMO money coming in, right? Like, may not be the games that we want to play or whatever, but the industry is pretty gnarly, and it's not all just mobile. I mean, mobile is a beast, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of mobile money, but like PC games aren't that bad off. I do think to your point though, Tiggles, and thanks for asking really interesting questions. To your point about the suits, there is, so when you're dealing with boards of directors who don't understand their market for the most part, dealing with different suits depending on the company, there is a lot of that push. Like when I got to my last company, and somebody asked me a question about my favorite pony earlier, and I missed it. I didn't answer it. But when I was at that was also you, cool. When I was at the last company I was at, one of the first questions that they asked me on the product side was like, what's our strategy for China? And it's just like, avoid it and don't get ourselves into a situation where we waste a bunch of money chasing, fool's gold. And let's just focus on making the game that we have much, much better, because there's a lot of room for improvement, both on the tool side and on our understanding of operations and all sorts of shit. So let's get better at making this MMO before we go off and waste time and money on some other nonsense. Zarkin says, where would you say the most money is wasted at game dev companies? I'm not a marketing expert, so I might be full of shit. I'm biased because I've always been on a team, like on the team. Well, that's not true. At my last company, I was overseeing all product and working with marketing. I think a lot of money is wasted on marketing that is wasted unnecessarily. And then it's wasted on stuff where, you could say, oh, well, how did that campaign, like that brand marketing campaign or whatever, how did that actually convert? How did that pay off? Oh, well, just look at if you look at our, organic growth, that's because of our brand marketing and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but it could also just be from, having like what we do. We have a team that's constantly interacting with the community, or having a good product, or your customer service and all of that could be affecting that just as much. So I think marketing oftentimes wastes more money than it provides value. I think the other thing is people being teams not being passionate about what they're working on, and it's not their fault, because there's not a reason for them to be passionate. And when we get into executive meetings, they're like, oh, we need a better mission statement. And ooh, thank you, whoever that was who just hit me. Ooh, my pace feels quickened. So we get in these executive bullshit meetings, where it's like, we need to work through our mission statement, our vision statement, and our company core values. And like, I have watched, no bullshit, I've seen the process of establishing mission, vision, and values take a year at a company. Just meeting after meeting after meeting about bullshit wording, and like, does this really convey who we are though? And like, we got to get everybody involved, and we're gonna hire some coaches to come in who facilitate the type of meetings to workshop this, and then we're gonna workshop that, and we're gonna have a workshop with the managers, and then they're gonna workshop with their teams, and we're gonna fucking we're just workshopping, and we're meeting, and well, then you know what our mission, vision, and values is? It's like, apparently we're meetings. Our values are we enjoy meetings, and making people feel included in the process but they're not really included in the process, because then when we're like, oh, that's kind of bullshit, then it's like, niche workshop cult. Don't you dare, Zukin. Don't you. What is the quote? Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? Yeah, so I've seen companies just have meetings about meetings and more meetings and workshops about stuff just so people feel included, and then ultimately they don't matter. And And so what it comes down to is I think there's a bit of the abdication of leadership and direction by saying, well, in modern companies, it's about making sure everybody feels included. And we're flat. We're a flat structure. And so because we're a flat structure, every decision is going to be made by the group. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're listening to the group, and then we're going to go into our executive meetings and be like, that shit was bullshit. Those people came up with some janky ass shit. So what are we actually going to do? All right, then how are we going to sell this as their thing? And then we come back out and we're like, we've got another workshop where we're going to try to convince you that the thing that we're doing is actually the thing you want. So anyways, sorry, that's just me being on a rant, but you know what? It's my stream. I'm on the clock. It's my personal hell, Nicodemus says. It's why I try to schedule all my meetings in one day. Dude, I talk to so many people who are like, yeah, I've got so many meetings this week. And I know that feeling because I was in the same thing. And then people are like, you guys, so here's the thing. I always feel awkward when I say something like, oh, we're doing good. The team's doing good, but the team is doing good. We have a part-time team, right? Like we've got a part-time team that is volunteering their time. So they're clearly passionate about what they're working on. But they've got other stuff. Our team members have families and kids and other jobs and, life situations that are dynamic and all this shit going on. But they constantly, we're just chipping away at this game. And when people are like, well, the productivity that we see in the updates is just crazy. You guys get a lot of stuff done. It's like, because we don't spend all day in fucking meetings, right? Like we're communicating async. We're not a big team, so we don't have a lot of on one hand, that really constrains our throughput. We don't have a lot of bandwidth to make a ton of shit, right? So it is taking us some time to work through some stuff. But on the other hand, we also don't have this person needs to talk to that person, to get authorization to do something, or everything that's done needs to, all of this work needs to then be approved and then sent back for an iteration or whatever, right? Like we're flat enough because we've just got, we've got one or a couple people in each sort of area, and they're given a fair degree of autonomy. And yeah, so we don't need all these meetings and stuff. And honestly, a lot of the companies that I've been at that have been bigger, you still don't need the meetings. You know what? In a lot of cases, it just wouldn't hurt to get some people whose opinions you actually trust and give those leaders the agency to just get shit done and give them the ability to have some authority over their people and have leaders that actually, the people that work for them respect. And then just get shit done, man. The amount of agile coach workshopping stuff that I've seen, and it's not an insult to these folks. It's because some of the agile coaches and stuff I've worked with over the years, they're great people and they know their craft or whatever, but the fact that the company's just bringing them in, it's just, oh man, I'm way off. I'm just spinning ranting wheels now. Necro85, thank you for the follow. Zilla said it's not just the time spent in the meetings either. It's how it fragments your time. Absolutely. And that's another thing, right? That's a huge thing. Context shifting. So I don't know how it is with you guys, and I apologize because you guys are saying a lot of good stuff up here. I'll try not to forget it, but if I calm down from this rant and I haven't answered something that you feel is important, just ask again. And thanks for talking to folks that I'm missing, like some Magic Dust and stuff. Thank you for joining the Discord. That is the best place to kind of get info. And we're in there. The team will answer your questions in there and stuff as well. But we have a lot of regulars in there, and folks in Discord are pretty cool. Some people are a little salty at times, but we're going to get them straightened out eventually. You know who I'm talking about. But the context shifting, as Zealous was mentioning. So I remember days where Pattis guy is not salty at all. He's such a sweetheart. He's adorable. Just like the rest of the team, we're adorable. Yeah, the day is like, so you commute to work, maybe you do some emails or whatever. Maybe you read the forums on the way into work. So that's kind of work time. If you can do that, in, like riding a train or whatever, commuting. So you get to work, then it's like first 20 minutes or whatever is like getting some coffee, bullshitting with the bros, and everybody's probably coming in at slightly different times. And so it's not like everybody just sits and heads down. It's like working immediately coming in. You got people, they're coming in, they're getting their coffee. They're talking about the Game of Thrones. They're probably getting the first, like second poop in for the day or whatever. It's like people come to work. They come straight to work and immediately go into their pooping. And it's like, all right, so I guess that's productive in a way. And yeah, so all of that happens, and then it kind of settles in, and it's like, all right, if you didn't check your emails on the way into work, now it's time to check the emails. Oh, do we have a morning stand-up? All right, so now the first hour of the day, it's an 8-hour day, including lunch break, right? It does include lunch break, I forget. So you got 1 hour basically just nuked to getting set up in the morning. You're pooping from home today. Oh, that's so modern of you, Purjas. And so you've killed an hour just getting set up for the day. And then maybe there's a company meeting. Is it a Monday? Do we have like a company meeting, or do we have a studio meeting or a team meeting? Right. And so then you get into like the meeting stuff, and that's that. What is it? That 4 hours before lunch, the 3 hours before lunch. Right. So a lot of times the day meetings maybe get set up because mornings are kind of fucked anyway. So it's like, all right, before lunch. And so then it's like, all right, my productive time is going to be after lunch. And then I go out and eat like 40 chicken wings, and I come back to work, and it's just like, okay, well, now I'm going to sleep. I'm going to take a couple minutes to check the Facebook and stuff because I just sat down. So why not check a little social media? Is there anything on Twitter I need to be pissed about? Okay, maybe shoot a message or two to my buddy on Slack. Be like, oh, that shit we were talking about at lunch was pretty wild. And then, yeah, so you're lucky. Dargit said we project 5 hours productive time per day per FTE, and that's probably generous. I would say that's probably generous. I'd say 2 to 4 hours of productive time per day per full-time employee, depending on their role. Now, there are some people that aren't middle management, aren't a lead, don't have any additional emails. They don't have anybody asking them questions like, how do I do this or whatever. Right. So there are some people that are able to just kind of come in. Grumpy programmer comes in, puts his headphones on, has the passive aggressive note on his desk that's like, if you're not on fire, don't tap on my back or whatever, like kind of stuff. And some of those guys are probably productive, but I would say as a lead that had to, like back in the day, as a lead that had to implement content as well, I would frequently find myself in a situation where I wasn't able to actually start work, like implementation or whatever, until 6 p.m., 6 p.m. when people started leaving for the day. And then I'd work another, 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on what was going on. Oh wait, quest item. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that here. Meanwhile, Zukin will pull some 8-hour streams where he only pauses once for a Pop-Tart. Correct. That's our secret. That's our secret. Dargus said there's 2 hours of golden time mid-morning and 2 hours mid-afternoon. Rest is crapshoot. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I find that, and the thing with our team is they'll work, you know, sometimes folks have a lot of stuff going on with their day job. Sometimes people have to travel for their day job. Sometimes people just don't have time or whatever. But the team overall is like basically been great about, you'll see something in Slack or whatever, and I don't encourage it. You know, we don't, leadership of the team doesn't encourage like, hey guys, you don't need to be in here every single day or whatever. Do what you can when you can. But we'll see, there's almost always something going on in our Slack 7 days a week. It's just different people, different times. Even if somebody's not available for a few weeks or something, somebody else that is in their same like discipline or whatever will be knocking out some other stuff, right? So we're always just steadily chipping away at the pile of game that we've got to make. I'm scrolling up to see if Tiggle said, I was told I'm on Goblin's shortlist for least favorite person in Discord. I've seen your name in Discord. I didn't think you were a pain in the ass. You seem nice in here. Replied to like, oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. You just said I've replied to like 8 emails during the stream. I'm productive as fuck. That's the other thing. You guys you're supposed to be working right now. And we're talking about productivity. What are you doing? Why are you here? You're supposed to be working. Somebody asks something. Oh, I gotta scroll up. Was it Lisava? I'm trying to find. Somebody asked about royalties. I'm just kidding. I am not your manager, and I won't tell your manager either. Your secret is safe with us. You do you. Orthelian and Lisava both have royalty questions. Oh, there. Oh no, you found it. That's what you did. The original was, you mentioned royalties being generous from EverQuest. Is that something current game companies offer to their devs? I thought it was going to be normal, and I was like, man, the games industry is awesome. There's several or many things I can say that are positives about Sony Online. I don't want to sound like I'm just saying bad things about Sony Online, because that was absolutely not the case. Sony Online was the most generous the company's ever been to me, at least in my career, and that time at Sony Online's really shaped my view of like how a company should work with regards to kind of the minimum they should be doing for their teams. So the royalties, we got quarterly, they're called royalties, but they weren't. It was just kind of a black box profit share. And so there was a bucket allocated for EverQuest's profits, and then there's kind of a black box formula for deriving who got what within the team, based off of, I think, you know, the usual factors like seniority and, you know, some determination of contribution, role, etc. The we didn't really know who got what, right? Again, sort of the standard polite rules, but we do know that. Oh, you just got notified that I'm live? Yeah, the robot gets kind of weird sometimes, and not just me. But yeah, so we would get quarterly royalties, and it tended to coincide with the fanfare. And so it was just amazing to be flown somewhere to hang out with fans and drink a bunch and just have a good time. And also check my ATM like receipt and be like, oh shit, royalty check hit. And for me, I was pretty dirt poor when I basically left to join Variant/Sony. Did not have very much cash at all, and I was just happy to be making the cash I got as a GM, which the cash I got as a GM wasn't bad either. You know, we got pretty decent, decent pay, like, because I had a skate park before I joined Sony with my family. Like, we had a skate park in Alabama, and like we didn't make money off that. Like, we were losing money constantly, honestly. And it was just like a super cheap daycare center for the locals. And so for me, before I got out to Sony, at that period of my life, it was like if we could get a Wendy's like Biggie meal, then I was amped, right? Like, that was a splurge. Tiggles said, this was an excellent stream. Thank you for all the questions. I need to head out and join again for sure. Right on, man. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all of the questions. Baka Bros Game Dev, thank you for the follow. Skate Park is not there. Skate Park, we basically sold it. We sold all the ramps and stuff to Skate Park. The nearest skate park was in Panama City Beach. We sold Mad Chuck the ramps that he wanted of ours. We sold some kids the other ramps. We shrunk the skate park down. When I basically realized that I was going to move to California to join Variant, we sold all that shit, got out from under the lease, moved to a tiny shop in the like a strip mall, and just took the remaining merch from our shop that was in our park into the shop there, and I just played EQ all day waiting for kids to get off school, and like did guide program stuff, and then we hit a point where it was time to move to California, and boom, packed our U-Haul. Ooh. NPC started moving kind of weird just then. Packed our U-Haul and moved to California and prayed that I could get a job. Baka Bros Game Dev, thank you for the raid with your 6 friends. Welcome, folks. Good to meet you. Yeah, so what was I saying? The royalties part of it. So Sony's royalties were pretty generous. You figure it was my first year in the industry, and without getting into too many specifics, I think maybe I have in the past or whatever, but I feel bad for like folks. Maybe some folks on the team got more, some folks got less, whatever. But I would say that Sony was pretty generous. Like, it was not uncommon at the time to get, at least at my level, per however I was ranked contribution wise or whatever, it was not uncommon to get, tens of thousands in royalties each quarter. up to. And I think for the people that had been there much, much longer and contributed much, much more, you know, the folks that were on the team prior to us, they were probably getting a shitload more, if I'm not mistaken. And good for them, they deserved it. And when you think about it, a game, Chromantic King, thank you for the follow. A game that's making, you know, if you've got, let's run the numbers. I forget sometimes. So if you got, say you've got like 450,000 subs paying, you know, $15 a month. So that's 6.7 round up, 6.8 million a month. I think 20 or 30% of that went back to Sony Computer Entertainment America, or one of the Sonys still own like a percentage of the EQIP. Excuse me. And then you've got a ton of other costs. Nick, enjoy your productive time. So if you've got even a few million coming in, now keep in mind, like, that money was going to have a lot of other projects like being spun up, but the chunk that was allocated for the team then, you know, gets divvied up within the team, and it's not bad cash, right? So one of the things that my whole career I've wanted to do is get to a point where we could have our own company where we just focus on maintaining as sort of lean and as profitable an approach as possible in order to ensure that the team can really get a decent profit share. Lasawa said, it's my understanding that the majority of developers these days work strictly off flat salary, if they're not just being commissioned for small bits and pieces. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's a salary gig that means you could work 40 hours a week, and you know, if you're making $50,000 a year and you're working 40 hours a week, all right, then you're making $50,000 a year. If you're working all of a sudden 60 hours a week for the same $50,000 a year, then all of a sudden that's not quite as awesome, right? Especially if you're not getting comp time, you're not getting any sort of a bonus, if you're not getting a profit share. Some of the annual bonuses and stuff I've seen, it's like, it's just not in keeping with it. To me, a lot of times it's just not fair compared to where it could be. Chromatic King says, heyo, hope you all are having a good day. I'm an interactive developer and 3D artist tapping in from Toronto. Oh, right on. Canadians are people too. Congrats, we made 200 million profit this year. Enjoy your $50 bonus for Christmas. Enjoy your $50 game card to or gift card to buy shit from our company. I'm kidding, Goblin. You know I love the Canadians. Do you think there'll be another play test? Perhaps sometime in 2024? Greg, we'll have more play tests. Will there be a cash shop that I can purchase sunglasses for my deep elf? There will not be. There will be no cash shop. But there may be a shop somewhere where you can buy sunglasses for your deep elf. Did we have free EQ accounts when we worked there? Yes, we did. This song is very perky. There we go, yep. Yeah, when I first got to Sony, like the company parties were pretty, like the Christmas party, they were giving away really good gifts. There's royalties, like it was a decent setup. What have I been collecting? I know what's going on. It's the mining pick. I'm like, my inventory is more cluttered than usual. It's the mining pick. How many scraps do I have? Only one. I'm gonna destroy it. Gotta save up and get a bag. Those of you that are tuning in for game development, I'll be honest, I promised you on Thursday that I was going to sit down and like figure out what I was going to do today so that there's like an actual agenda for the stream and we could talk about we could do real work. But fortunately you've been asking industry questions, so I could share my limited experience with you on that front. But you know, those of you that are more interested in the development side of things, because somebody, oh man, I meant to read it out. There was a nice comment above. Let me... Damn it. I missed it. Someone... Whoever said the nice thing about, like, us streaming and showing game development and stuff. You're welcome. Thank you for that. If that was you, feel free to repeat it so I can actually recognize your comment properly. But I could... That was you, Greg? Oh, right on. Yeah, so I mean, we can look at the more development side of things. I just figured while I rambled tonight, I would kill some stuff in the background. The real Esquire. Doldy Boldy, thank you for the follow. Real Esquire, thank you for the follow. There's the comment. Really appreciate how you stream often, showing real-time development of the game and take questions. Great approach. Love your attitude. Thank you. Yeah, guys, be sure to check out the rest of the team, because I'm in Germany. My hours aren't the best for always for aligning with you guys. Be sure to check out the rest of the team's streams, because they stream at better hours for some of you, and they do actual work, whereas a lot of times I'll just be jibba jabbing. Oh, what's going on over here? Oh wait, that is over here. Oh my gosh. Look at it just chug along. I really should have restarted my machine before I started streaming tonight. The real Esquire said, "Hey man, watch all of your EQ interviews from a few years ago while I was grinding the last few days in Pop on Oakwin. Hands down best content I've watched on EQ." Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I'm glad that people are still discovering those. The evil plan is to do was to do some really cool interviews with folks and then trick you guys to come over and check out our game. I forget. Unity folks, what do I need to bring up to kill the rendering of this nav mesh? I thought it was just in here. AI. As you can tell, that's not part of my job. Checkbox on the bottom right of the viewport. This dude? No. Not that one. Never click that box. Bottom right. My viewport. You're seeing it, buddy. What is it called? Right click scene tab. Oh, there's John. Right click scene tab and go to overlay menu. Right click scene tab, overlay menu. Oh. And click AI navigation. But it says it's not even showing, man. Is this because of something weird that Ollie was doing? Can we blame this on Ollie? Oh, wait, okay. Let me try this one more time. See if I can un-F myself. Oh, and there we go. Okay. Well, it shouldn't be showing anything at this point. What is this mesh? I'm gonna select you, mesh, and then maybe I'll understand you more. Or is that the new mesh for the allow the new texture blending to work? Globe icon. Dude, my machine is not liking me right now. It's like... Okay, so that's considered... It's considered a gizmo, or considered a... Let me go in here and find this thing. Is it under A star? Is it under nav mesh? I don't want to see any of you nav mesh. All right, let's turn it back on and see if we see it. I'm still seeing it, you son of a gun. What are you, blue thing? I'm gonna click you. No, not you. You, what are you? Everything, yes, the game is just now blue. It's blue, bama dee bama da. On the inspector panel, there's a mesh renderer checkbox. But I'm trying to figure out what this particular thing is down here. Is this the terrain? Alright, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to do anything that resembles actually work for now. We'll get this figured out. We'll get this figured out offline. Oh man, I burned through my fire beetle eye while I was doing that. I should have turned it off. What a dummy. Alright, don't let me waste this torch. Alright, where were we? We tried to be productive and that just wasted a bunch of time. So let's just go back to killing a few things and talking random shit about the games industry. See if I can get another one of these fire beetle eyes. This was as productive as work meeting number 5. Yes. Great workshop, everyone. Thank you. Valuable input, Lasava. Really liked what you're going for there. Definitely give me something to think about. We're gonna add your cards. We're gonna take your cards off the board. Oh shit. I thought I was tougher than that. We're gonna take your cards off the whiteboard here, and then we're gonna put them in a nice little stack, and I'm gonna put that stack of cards on my desk, and I'm gonna promptly forget about them for the rest of my life. I have in my phone, I can't show you because of NDA and stuff. I have in my phone, because whenever I was done with meetings, or during meetings, I would take pictures of whiteboard. And this old phone is actually my old work phone from the last company. If you're from that company, then ignore what I'm about to say. I don't want to be in trouble for having possession of stuff I shouldn't or whatever. But I took so many pictures. I've got like thousands of pictures of whiteboards, meeting notes in my damn phone. Oh, that's a fair point, Goblin. You're right. I was thinking about that as I was selling or killing my, well, destroying my fire beetle eye. Wow, that rat is... Poor Ollie. Poor Ollie. Fire beetle gland. I don't need that. I'm destroying that. I'm destroying it. What else is on my cursor? I gotta go sell some shit. And then I gotta put this mining pit in the bank. Any plans to have player housing or something similar? Perjos, it's funny you asked that. Ollie just put in a first pass of player housing. And we may actually, I wonder if he checked it in. I forget. I think he did. I think we can go see his house. Well, Justin Beard, that's what happens when you make a crack house. That's not good for property values, buddy. I think you know this. I think you're being a silly goose. Zarkin said, do you think Unity games get unreasonable hate because there's so many subpar games made with it? I think Unity games get unreasonable hate because almost everything in life gets unreasonable hate these days. Like if we were making Unreal game, I'd be curious if we spent enough time doing this sort of thing in Unreal, if people would be like, though I do think that I think that Unity's piss poor sort of management and you know, PR, a lot of that problem's on it, so like that's on them. Yep, let me go sell. John said, found the blue stuff. It's called A-Star Path, and the gizmos dropped down. Oh, it's actually spelled out. Let me fix that then real quick. Nice. There we go. That's more reasonable. Thanks, Sean. Miklas, hello. I had great holidays. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas if you're into that. New Year if you're into that. Those of you, and the only, you know what? Let me GM myself and then let me change time of day because it's so nighttime right now. And then, where was Ollie's house? And then I can show you something. Just built a 9.9 liter water-cooled PC. Took me about 60 hours. Couldn't believe it. That sounds gnarly. I'm so bad with like PCs and technology and shit. Oh, let me sell this while I'm walking by here. I'm not going to be able to get that song out of my head now, John. I love that song. Doot, doot, doot. Alright, so GM on. Time set 7 a.m. Actually 6 a.m. Alright. Alright, so those of you that haven't seen our game before, and honestly, I know we've made some changes on this front. I think, was it Zillith or was it Keith that just did this? Oh, it's weird. Like you guys will ask questions and I'll see them and I mean to respond and I just keep like rambling about whatever I'm rambling about, and then I'll be like, oh shit, I really want to answer that question. Who was asking about the collectible card game? Your name's on the tip of my tongue, and not in a creepy way. Are you still out there? A rambling robot would be better. Zarkin, a loving rambling robot. That's too many words. I think just a rambling robot. It was Tiggles? Alright. Well, when Tiggles comes back one of these days, we'll have to talk about it. I have not played with this. I wonder if Chip's still out there. Because I think Chip's the one that implemented the changes. So yeah, my excuse for not like having my shit together today and just doing like legit real work is a good one. I have a good excuse, guys. I had a lot of meetings. Kind of true. It's catching up on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the background, and so a lot of discussion today. And that led to focusing on that. Yeah, I had to fill out a bunch of TPS reports, Justin. That led to focusing on that as opposed to coming up with a agenda for today. Hey, Esam, what's up, dude? Yeah, well, preparing for a snowstorm's a little bit more important than being here on time, buddy. So it used to be if I brought up the data set, for those of you that haven't been here before, I'd bring up the data set and you would just see this entire city is covered in numbers, covered in spawners. And I believe that it was Zillith that just updated things. It was either Zillith or Keith, so that you don't see all the numbers, but now you can see the spawners. On one hand, it was a complete crazy mess to see hundreds and hundreds of spawn points, the numbers for them. On the other hand, it was kind of an interesting flex as well, where it could show it off and be like, oh, look at all this shit. So yeah, people losing power, that's no fun. Hopefully you guys have the resources that you need and stuff. So here you can see all of the spawners. And now you can see like the actual list of folks. It happened 4 times due to squirrels. When I lived in Alabama, we'd constantly get squirrels. They'd get in the transformer and pop. And we'd be without power. All right, so another thing. Okay, it is turned off. It sounded like a bomb going off, man. When a squirrel blows up in a transformer, it was incredibly loud. It's not a pleasant thought, no, but it happened. Yeah, super sad. So, those of you, is it Iker Ist? Ist, yeah, Ist? Or probably just Iker for sure. Have to be protective about removing rodents, especially in a rural area. One year I caught over 100 rats, removed 4 squirrels too. Was that just not professionally? More like, was that just like as a hobbyist? It's pronounced. It's like pronouncing Icarus. It's like pronouncing Icarus with a slur. Oh man, and I'm so good at slurring too, but I haven't had any alcohol in like 6 months. This is Ollie's house. I found it. Here's Ollie's house. And I'm a GM, so I have the key. Kirsch. A Kirsch? How would I slur that? Ikirish. Mod abuses his powers of break and enter for sure. So, whoop, it's protected. But I can be a creep and look in. And I was saying, since it's tied to a volume, we should be able to also assign properties. Like you could get magical wards that protect your house. So when dude comes through the window, not only does it teleport him out, but it poisons them or catches them on fire. Anti-gnome ward? Yes. I thought it was going to be sneaky. That house has better security than yours, yeah. If there are traps like that, could you technically use your house to help you kill stuff? Ooh, I don't know if it would be that powerful, but that would definitely be a fun exploit. I could, if you hadn't asked that question, just imagine we like put it in without thinking about it, and then we find that there's some guy that just trains guards into his house. Follow me into my house, guys. It puts the lotion on its skin. You're just getting guards to chase you into your basement. Alright, so there's Ollie's house. For those of you that are asking about housing, that's a prototype. There's a lot of interface work to be done. So we've got a little interface that Ollie put together for different permissions and all that stuff. So that's already there. Did anybody not see the monthly update that we posted? I'm curious. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, cool. So if you see, we've been doing some stuff that allows us now to do texture blending. So you see the sand along with the road, and you see how we're using that now to do texture blending. And then you look at these. You look at these structures, even the ones here, with textures and stuff on. So now. And you'll see that this is an example of what buildings can look like in the future. So we're doing a number of different things. It's broken out. It's broken out in detail in the. Where are we at here? Where are we at, guys? Yeah. So it's broken out in the update. So if you go down there, you'll see. You'll see new texture work that we've got going on the NPCs, and different NPCs able to wear hats and stuff now. A lot of the new stuff that we've been building, and then some of the stuff that we're working on, sort of looking ahead. And yeah, then you look at the shading improvements kind of before and after. And yeah, so the textures and the shading and stuff adds up. It really does. Weirdest Brady Bunch opening ever. Yeah, I told the guys that I set this up. I dragged all the GIFs in, and I was like, rather than try to organize these, it was just pure chaos. I was listening to, I forget which Deadmau5 song I was listening to. But while I was listening to Deadmau5 while putting this together. And I just sat here mesmerized for a little bit. But yeah, so the buildings and stuff are going to be looking a bit different soon. We're currently working on a little art jam where we're going to be playing around with see how many different biomes we can kind of figure out and texture, figure out the textures and props and other stuff for. Get a feel, kind of get an idea for what the future can look like for us. Variety in some of the different zones and stuff. You can see trim sheets in use as well up here. Some nice little details. You can also see them over on the main gate over there, to the night market. Watch 3 hours of Goblin making textures. Right on. That's gotta be relaxing. Goblin's usually playing some interesting music and stuff as well. Or at least according to YouTube, every time it yells at us for Goblin playing interesting music and us uploading the VOD. How much effort is it to transform one building like that? Just curious how much updating Night Harbor to that standard costs in terms of effort. It's a better question for the art guys, Dargeth, but it's my understanding that once we've figured out the pipeline and process, the primary consideration, and correct me if I'm wrong if you're still out there, Pattis, or Monty if you've popped in, unless I'm missing something drastic with regards to modifying the existing meshes to work well with the new, with this new sort of like workflow, I think it's just a matter of essentially going in and grabbing the various structures, and for the most part, it works in relatively big strokes. So I'm going to say in very kind of non-specific terms that it's not a massive effort. It's just a matter of just kind of coming in and like clicking them, right? Because even if you look at the design of this structure versus that one's a lot simpler. So will it wind up being a bit more of just putting this texture on? Because essentially all that's going on here is this texture is applied to this specific geo, the trim sheets applied to that bit of geo. We've got the texture there and probably a certain amount of painting. And then a lot of what you're seeing here is just like ambient occlusion and other stuff that's happening. It happens on its own once it's applied to the geo. I believe. I'm not the art guy. But that was sort of what I was picturing as being the situation. But it's a good question. It's a good question to ask Pattis, Monty, maybe Simon in Discord. But it's also one of those things that I'm kind of saying in non-specific terms because it's something I wanted to sit down with them and figure out as well. Showang said, those pics that came out with the update showing the shading changes are amazing. Thumbs up. Right on. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Iker asks, or Yeah, asks, with owning houses, is it planned to be able to build them as well via trade skills and ferrying oversized items via wagging, etc., or just buy existing ones in town? The current plan is primarily buying them. There may be some areas where you can restore, because that way we still have it's still pretty deterministic. We have a good idea of like what's there. Building from the plot up, if we ever do that, it'll still be basically this specific plot has X footprint and then you can do. I wouldn't put it past us. So yeah, and it's funny, Nick and I were talking about a lot of wagoneering and similar stuff earlier today, actually. Would a plot building be instanced? Nah, the plan for the time being is not to instance anything. It was a good meeting. It was a meeting. It was good. Simon said Monty mentioned he could automate the application of shaders with a new tool, provided the geometry is manifold. Manifold destiny. Just like America. Awesome. Thank you, Simon. I could see a necromancer hair salon called Nicodemus's Curl Up and Die. Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. Curl Up and Die. Will we be able to manually place furniture? Yeah. Exact mechanism we'll probably have to play with a few times, but we've got an idea for a first iteration. But the goal is to let you place your own stuff in here. Can you extrapolate on the wagoneering conversation? I think it's about as far as I could go for now on that. Was just, we were talking a little bit about world size, potentially unique resources that could be gathered in different parts of the world, the need for, you know, a caravan or wagon or pack animal to move between certain areas like different cities and stuff in order to be able to lug those resources around. But I'm not going to get too far into the details because it's something we're still playing with, and I don't want to overspeak on that one. Aaron says personal houses and guild buildings are one of those things I actually prefer instancing, where normally I do not. Now I feel you, but I just feel, you know, it's I think our view on it is the more we can push the boundaries of non-instance, the more it keeps everything in the world and reinforces the world sense. Iker said, see, obviously you should need a full party to do wagoneering, and then you could load up and get random encounters, and it turns into D&D as you travel between towns to do trade expeditions. I would say that you're not cold. I see what you did there, Dargith. We didn't even need a meeting for it. On the flip side, I'd love to set my house to view only, where people could come in and look at my sweet pad. Possibly even have a shop. Yeah, I mean, I think people are going to really, really enjoy having shops and stuff in here. Maybe they should have dedicated guild plots that people can take over through PvP. Something that's been discussed. Tutrell, it is getting late. You have a wonderful rest of your evening. Good luck on your early start. I've got an early start tomorrow as well. I've got to go to the hospital tomorrow to have my pre-surgery planning meeting. Speaking of meetings. And then while we're there, we're probably going to see if we can bump up the second surgery a little bit earlier than it's currently planned for. Yeah, first surgery is shoulder, second surgery is pinky. So. Do you know if monks will be getting more skills abilities? I only played Monk, Necro, Beastmaster. They seem to be lacking. Yeah, their abilities coming in weekly at this point. Nick's been slamming in new stuff. A lot of new functionalities come online. If you haven't read the update, the new update gets into. The updates really are worthwhile, guys. If you're not on the mailing list, you know, join it or just keep an eye out for the updates and check it out. If you come in here in the design section, we're pretty thorough. And it's even broken down like down here. Beastmaster now has access to bat, crocodile, jackal, snake pets. You said necromancer, new ability charm undead. New ability, restrain the dead. Nothing listed for monk at the moment. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going in all the time. Lot of stuff going in. Yeah, so anyways, I came all the way down here because we were talking about guild halls and stuff like that. I think one of the fun things will be there being just cool structures in town that you'll be able to rent, right? And finding those like kind of baller areas where you're like, all right, I wanted to be able to get this house here on the water, right? Later in, if we tie in certain functionality as well, so if this is your dock, wouldn't that be cool? Based on kind of what we've been doing with housing so far, I don't see it as being super difficult to pull off, but we'll see. Will there be any kind of PvP in M&M? Yeah, so we'll have consensual PvP for sure. And then if we've got the numbers for it, maybe even if we don't. Nice touch, Bill. Maybe if we don't, it would be nice to have a PvP server. Dargith, I am not sure. Dargit said, killing raid targets gives DKP. Spend DKP to maintain your guild hall or forfeit it to rival guilds. Even more reason for poop talking craziness. I still think it would be cool to have a like a city or a little town or a little village or a little something that's kind of like a no man's land type area, and you can just take it over and you can hold it. And it'd just be like a little PvP area. Yep. Lawless town of PvP nonsense like Booty Bay. Yep. Something along those lines. Maybe we could even do that with like maybe one of the little islands out here. Elron, no, because it would be an immersion breaking, but it's still, it's funny, but I don't think we would do it. No flintlock pistols, correct. Keep said PvP RP server. When we do, if we do, but I really would like to think when we do, like legit super RP server, then it'll have PvP built in just because I think it's necessary for RP server. Talking like GTA 5 style. Cool. All right. So it is 10:45. I got to get up early in the morning. I expended all my energy earlier. So Thursday, I swear I will honestly try to have an agenda and we'll work on something. Today wound up being a lot of good discussions and it just kind of threw me. So Thursday we will actually work on a thing or something. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff that I'm working on right now, we just can't do it on stream. It's all top secret. Jester 1305, good night and thank you for being here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you were here. Fielder, good night. See you in Discord probably. See you, pessimistic squid. Later Dragon, Vante Leon. Oh, discussion documents. Yeah, we should do that soon. Those are nice. A little brainstorm document with the community. Infarish, see you. Chat Solo, see you. Pattis, good night, buddy. Good night, Vante Leon. Zhao see you. DDJ. I'm not getting amputated tomorrow, but thank you. I'll use the good luck for the consultation. Keeb, see you, bud. Later, John. Thanks again for the help. Lesava. Good night. Zuby. Bye. Zukin. See ya. 3PO. Bye-bye. Quixana. Lurking's okay. I sensed that you were there. Talit. Good night. Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Yes, Thursday, Justin Beard. I'll see you Thursday. Miklos. Ciao. Enoch. Take care. Nicodemus. Hope everything goes good with your power coming back on. And appreciate it. Cool. Yeah, I had fun reading the stuff that you sent over. So I sent you a bunch of notes. So I'm excited to go through them. See you, Justin. See you, Choklar. All right, guys. I'm going to push the button. See everybody Thursday.